The force that challenged the entire elite, wretched class embodies a philosophy of not being merely a victim. He says you have to fight for the rights of people, particularly when it comes to obtaining the highest form of faith. You have to guard it with force and sheer power. Rely on the power of the Almighty, the Divine Creator, and face the enemies fearlessly. You should not have any fear in your heart when you are calling out the falsehood. The Almighty Creator God will put fear in the hearts of your enemies. This action alone became a force to be reckoned with. Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, from a noble family, he was not a wealthy one like the elites. He displayed great courage, inspiring others to take a stand against tyrants and oppressors. There is no escape for these wicked people, and those with a sound heart must stand firm for the truth and face the consequences. This courageous act struck fear in the hearts of the unjust and inspired the common people to defend their rights. After a prolonged wait, a remarkable leader has surfaced, captivating the entire nation and societal hierarchy. This newfound hope aligns with an ancient prophecy from the Old Testament, now evident in the resistance against oppressive rulers. Consequently, there is a growing comprehension of Christ's teachings among the underprivileged, peace be upon him, in particular the youth. While the tyrants are revealing their intentions by scheming to quash any potential rebellion. That's why they went for the young ones. In the ancient times, if you study the life of Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, as described in all traditions, it was all about the uprising. It was all about the questioning of the societal norms, the societal protocols created by the rich, wealthy, filthy, wretched, wicked, tyrant elites who changed the commandments, the divine doctrines, all to uphold falsehood and create a fearful society so that their blanket of deception can always stay on top of the poor and the uneducated. It was all about the control, the similar control that their ancestors felt and lived under. Under whom? Story of Exodus, the great pharaohs. Yes, it's the exact same principle. Same rhetoric, same style, same tricks, same protocols, same principles. The blanket of fear on top of all of those who they felt the elites, whom the elites felt that they can subjugate mentally, first, physically, financially, and emotionally, which will all lead to this spiritual weakness in the hearts of those who are subjugated. And the worst thing was, majority of them never realized it, just like their ancestors. Hence the Exodus. That's why the most important figure of that epoch, Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, was sent to liberate them from the pangs of the imprisonment of their brains, their minds, their souls, their hearts, and their communities. They needed someone who can lift them up and who can bring them back to the track, bring courage back into their hearts, and bring them back to where they belong, which is at the top echelons of the society / the civilizations. That's why the uprising led by Christ, peace be upon him, is a force that these tyrants knew that they... That's why, just like in the past, fast forward it to 2024, now Christ, peace be upon him, is a symbol of courage, symbol of power, symbol of righteousness, symbol of standing for the truth, for a righteous system where the poor doesn't get exploited. There is respect for human life, and there is respect for a family. Exactly the same way the uprising happened in the past, and it was quashed by the elite. Similarly, fast forward it to 2024, with the Olympics being the greatest, shambolic, atrocious event, an event of the century, when it's been mocked and televised alongside a genocidal televised broadcast mocking humanity and faith at the same time. There's a lot more to it, isn't it? So the elites knew in 2024, just like in the past. The uprising led by Christ, peace be upon him, is a force that these tyrants knew they could not contend with and would not be able to fight. So they started riling up their horses to plot a trap, similar to what they have done in the past and in the recent past to get rid of Christ, peace be upon him. Similar to what they did in the same timeline with Prophet Zechariah and his blessed son John the Baptist, peace be upon them both. They used their political ties to mastermind a coup to dismantle this uprising and devised a game plan for the execution of this leader, the Messiah of the poor, and the anointed, and the one promised to come from the lineage of David, peace be upon him, in order to liberate them from the pangs of the pagan enslavement. An enriching trend led the nation back into the recurring cycle of history, where they found themselves reliving the traumas of their forebears. Despite the recent occurrences of these events, the nation failed to heed the lessons of the past, straying far from established norms and practices they once implored God to uphold. The impending rebellion faced imminent suppression by a coalition comprising pagan factions and mercenaries in service to the clergy.